Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Christian Networking Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Teresa McCurry, and we want to thank you guys for tuning in today. Christian Networking Entrepreneurs is a platform for entrepreneurs, small business owners, and community leaders to come and share their testimonies and share their thoughts and help other people grow as it relates to business and as it relates to personal development. And today I just want to take a brief second to talk about something that happened last night. But before I do that, I want to introduce my guest for today. My first guest for today is Nancy Fien. Nancy, welcome.
Thank you, Super T. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, I'm excited to have you here, and we'll find out who you are and all about you. I just want to introduce you guys and talk about what happened last night. And my next guest is Yolanda Murphy. Yolanda Murray from NLDP. Yolanda, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right. So before we get into who you guys are, I want to talk about what happened last night. And Yolanda, you was there, so if you want to jump in at any time, you can jump in. So last night we had our second annual MCS Fund. And MCS stands for Misha Chanel Saxton Fund. It's a fund where we collect unrestricted dollars to bless people with sickle cell disease. And last night we had a laugh out loud at the Improv that was absolutely amazing. So before we go on with this show, I just wanted to thank everybody that participated last night. Thank you for coming out and supporting. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your donations. And the comedians was amazing. And Yolanda was our MC last night. So Yolanda, give us your little 2 cents about what you feel about last night.
It was truly an amazing experience and an amazing opportunity for me, because as a budding stand-up comedian, I had an opportunity to open at the Improv. Woo-hoo!
How cool is that?
It was marvelous. And the purpose of the event was extremely, extremely important. It's so important that we donate. So donate blood in support of sickle cell disease, because we can help save a life. So it was phenomenal.
It really was.
And I enjoyed it so very, very much. And again, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. I wanted to give you that opportunity when I first met you and we talked about you being a comedian, and I knew that we had this event coming up. So just a little bit more, and then we'll get into Christian Networking Entrepreneurs. So the Red Cross was there, and the Red Cross was there to sign up people to be able to donate blood, because what we found is that 90% of the people that have sickle cell anemia is African American. And you can get blood from anybody, but it's much better to get a better match if you get blood from another African American. So in the past, that's just something that we as a people don't do. We normally don't donate blood. So yesterday was World Sickle Cell Day, and World Sickle Cell Day means all around the world there was awareness as it relates to sickle cell. So I just wanted to just give a little plug in about the Misha Chanel Saxton Fund, the Red Cross, Kincaid's Kindred Spirits, all the sponsors that came out on yesterday to be a blessing at the Laugh Out Loud for sickle cell. And we laughed out loud. My stomach was hurt. My phone has been going off all morning about people and how they just really enjoyed themselves last night. So thank you for giving me that 2 minutes to talk about that. So now let's get into Christian Networking Entrepreneurs. Our theme for Christian Networking Entrepreneurs: if you don't network, you don't work. And basically that's saying that if you don't network, if you don't get out and meet people, if you don't get the resources and things that you need, your business will not be able to go as far as you would like it to go. Whether it's your business, whether it's an association, whether you're doing something in the community, you always need to network to make that happen. So first we're going to talk to Nancy Fien for a minute about Tri-C. So Nancy, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nancy Fien, and I work for Cuyahoga Community College, Tri-C. I've been there for 16 years, and I am in the Workforce, Community, and Economic Development Division. And what I've been doing most recently is recruitment of high school students to tell them about all the offerings that Tri-C has in terms of workforce training. We have police, fire, EMS, manufacturing, information technology, healthcare, truck driving, manufacturing, especially with the company Swagelok, is in great demand. There are many people that are retiring, and there aren't enough people to fill the jobs. So we have a lot of programs that we work with companies throughout the community who will bring their offerings and their trainers to Tri-C, as well as individuals who are looking for jobs. It's a great partnership.
Well, awesome. So with that, it's like, it sounds like you talked about a lot of like hands-on jobs that you don't necessarily, quote unquote, need a college degree for.
That's right. Well, actually, no college degree. A high school diploma or GED is required. And yes, we need individuals to build things and make things. If there are people that aren't in the workforce, we will not be riding in cars, driving cars. The workforce is very important to the sustainability of our civilization. And we are looking for young people as well as middle-aged people, anyone who's interested in working with their hands, helping people, solving problems, making people feel better. That's what we're looking for.
That's awesome. I love it. So I met Nancy in NLDP. NLDP is Neighborhood Leadership Development Program, and we were cohorts. Cohort number 12, the best cohort. Anyway, I'm not saying anything. But Yolanda works for NLDP. So Yolanda, tell us a little bit about yourself, what NLDP is.
The Neighborhood Leadership Development Program is a skills transfer leadership program. And what we do is we recruit neighborhood leaders who are working actively in their communities, who have a desire to make Cleveland a better place for everyone who lives in Cleveland.
Awesome. And how long have you been there? You were a part of the program, correct?
Well, actually, I was hired by NLDP. I have been there it'll be 7 years in November, and I am the program associate, and I am the individual who coordinates directly with the new cohort and the facilitators to ensure that our training sessions run smoothly.
Okay.
That's one of my
many hats that you wear. So ladies, today we're just going to have a conversation. We're going to talk about Nancy and what she's doing. We're going to talk about NLDP, what you're doing, and how it affects me as well. So we all can ask each other questions and just have an open dialogue about it. And the whole purpose of it is to help the viewing audience and the listening audience learn more about NLDP and about the things that we have going on in the community. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a great plan.
Okay, awesome. So Nancy, let's go back to you and talk about what's next for Tri-C, or what's next for you with your program. Let's talk about what we had to do. So in NLDP, we had to have a project. Talk about that first.
Well, my initial project was a youth police council, and it was to bring kids between the ages of 18 to 24, so individuals between the ages of 18 to 24 from each police district throughout the city of Cleveland, and pair them up with police officers and meet on a monthly basis and talk about the issues at hand and what's going on. Also bring in speakers. This was a great project for me. But in my job, I found that when I was going to high schools to talk to young individuals about their next steps in the planning for Tri-C, or for after graduation, that a lot of the kids were mentioning that they wanted to go into the NFL or NBA.
Right.
And I will never ever squash anyone's dreams or desires, but I wanted to also give them other opportunities. So to say, yes, this is what you're interested in. And a number of young people, they were only playing basketball, pickup games. They were not on the basketball team or the football team. So I thought about coming up with something for workforce training, giving them and saying, okay, that's great, you want to be in the NFL, and let's look here. You can also work, there are many other jobs within the NFL and the NBA. So with the help of my awesome NLDP coach, Mike Walton, I changed my program, and I wanted to provide this manufacturing technical training to youth between the ages of 18 to 24, and came up with a name, Got Big Plans, with a dollar sign for the S. And this is still in the works. I'm still working this out, but Coach Mike made sure that I registered with the state of Ohio.
Awesome.
So I have Got Big Plans is my business. I just need to come up with a full business plan.
Yeah.
And it's basically what we do on a daily basis. We see a lot of young people that are coming from, I work at Tri-C's Metro campus, and so I go to a lot of the Cleveland high schools. And for the individuals who are not planning to go to a four-year college, we have wonderful opportunities at Tri-C.
Yes.
Not just in workforce, we have 4-credit classes where kids can start off locally, going to a school, get their core classes out of the way, save tens of thousands of dollars, and then if they desire, they can move on to a four-year college. Or if they go through workforce training and they have certificates in welding, manufacturing, they continue to stack those certificates and advance in whichever industry they choose.
Yeah, so the opportunities are amazing. So it's like endless opportunities.
Endless
So
opportunities.
it's just a matter of being exposed to them. And I love that big plan. You got a big plan as the dollar sign. So the S on plans is a dollar sign
Yes.
instead of an S. So when you sent me to that and I seen it, I'm like, this is so cute. This is amazing. So Yolanda, how did NLDP come to be?
NLDP is the dream of former Mayor Michael White. He had a desire. He knew and realized that there is a cadre of persons in Cleveland who love Cleveland.
Yes.
And they desire to ensure that, again, Cleveland is working for everyone, and they're working at the grassroots levels in their community, providing programs and projects to enhance the quality of their communities.
Yes.
Through whether it's a community garden, whether it's working with children, whether it's a mentoring program, whether it's a kickball program, whether it's reentry. So he was tenacious in his desire to get this, and he presented it to Mr. Mort Mandel, the founder of the Jack Joseph and Mort Mandel Foundation, and he tenaciously pursued this dream of his, and finally in 2006 it was granted, and we started with cohort 1, 12 persons, and 6 sessions, which included the orientation session.
Okay.
From that, NLDP has grown into, now let me make sure I get on my
All right,
talking
come on.
points. They have grown into receiving over almost 100 applications per application season, 20 participants. We are up to session 13, which we are in, or cohort 13, which we are recruiting for now, and 229 strong, committed, dedicated persons working for the betterment of Cleveland and Cleveland's communities, their residents, and just Cleveland. I mean, it's all about working to make Cleveland work for everyone. And we've gone from 6 sessions to 16 sessions. So that it was his dream, and he like I say, he fought for it, and it's now a staple in Cleveland.
Awesome.
Yes.
I know it was amazing for me. Was it amazing for you, Nancy?
It was life-changing for me.
I feel like I have a master's degree knocking on the door of a PhD in leadership development.
Yes.
The classes were amazing. The instructors that came in were so knowledgeable, and then the way that they presented the classes, and then the book that we got with all the information that we needed, it was amazing. So you spoke about this starting cohort number 13 now. So tell the viewing audience, what would it take for them to apply to be a part of cohort number 13?
The first thing we suggest is you go to our website and www.nldpcleveland.com, and to review first what we do, why we do it, and how we do it. Then the next step is to review the curriculum schedule, and that is so important because it is 16 sessions held approximately every second to third Saturday from July until, from August until June. And it is a commitment we take very, very seriously because each of the sessions builds from the one before it. So our attendance policy is that
100%.
It is. It's mandatory because if you miss a session, you miss a very important building block within the growth or the progression of the program. Upon doing that, and when you realize and say, okay, I'm willing, first, I live in Cleveland or an inner ring suburb. I have a project or a program that I'm working for in Greater Cleveland. It must be in Cleveland. And I'm committed and dedicated to sacrificing, because that's exactly what it is. It's a sacrifice to better yourself.
It
so again,
is.
so you can better
The community.
your
Yes.
community. Then apply. You can apply online, or you can contact me at 216-776-6167 or ymurray@nldpcleveland.com, and I'm happy to email an application or even put one in the mail for you. So that's the process. The application process is going on now, and it ends on Monday, August the 5th. Now, one of the things people also have to understand is, okay, if you're receiving upwards of 100 applications every year, how do you make your selection? Because the program is totally free.
Okay.
It includes breakfast, lunch, free parking, your materials. It is free in regards to that expectation or that aspect, but it cost is priceless, because again of the commitment that you have to sacrifice to give. You're missing activities with your families, your children. We've even had persons who, I'm leaving, I'm going to a homegoing, and I'm coming back, because it's just it's so important to them. And of course, we make allowances for special circumstances, but the commitment of our cohort participants is absolutely amazing. And my point was,
You told a wonderful. I mean, the whole thing was like, what does it consist of?
Yes.
And introducing people to be a part of cohort 13.
and so how they get there is, that was my next, that was what I was building to. 100 applications. We conduct interviews. Michael White, our program director, and sometimes another person conducts the interviews with him, and we select 20 persons out of the persons who interview. Every person who comes through is valuable, and every person is really important to us. But we select 20 persons to actually participate in the program, and then it's away we go.
So how do you get to the table to get an interview? Because I mean, out of 100, when I applied, they told us that they had over 200 applicants for that particular cohort,
Okay.
right? So if you got 200 people to choose from, how do I stand out? How do I get chosen? How do I get to the table to even get the interview?
Well, ensure, number one, that you again are a Cleveland resident or an inner ring suburb resident. Have a project, a program, or an ideal of for something that this is not being done, or it's being done but it's not being done in this way. And if I get that additional, because every person who applies, they're already leaders. See, that's the beauty of it also. Everyone who applies is already a leader. They're already doing their thing. They're already working it out. Our goal for them is to provide them with additional tools into their toolbox, and that's why we say we're a skills transfer program. And skills transfer is where your previous experiences influence the way that you learn new skills, enhance your current skills, and then work them into new situations.
Awesome.
So people come in, and we had a person who came in and she said, this was midway. She said, I came into this program. Number one, I was really, happy and surprised I was accepted. But, I came in thinking, I know all there is to do. I had my 501c3. I'm doing what I need to do. And she said, and midway through the program curriculum, she thought, I don't know a thing. I don't know a thing. And yes, I'm doing, but there are so many better ways to do it. There are so many resources and tools and materials out there that I don't have a clue about. And that is one of the things that NLDP does. It opens up, it makes you, number one, step out your comfort zone. Because when you're cohort first begins, it's not about jumping right into, okay, this is how you fundraise, this is how you set your program planning up. Oh, we're going to go into conflict negotiation. No, it's all about you. Because before you can work with other people, you need to know who you are. You need to know how emotional intelligence, you need to know how you can relate and work with other persons to make it work. So first, it's all about you. And then once you learn about yourself, and it's a very interesting and eye-opening experience to realize, wow, I didn't realize this was the kind of leader I am, or this is the kind of listener I am, or these are the kinds of things that I do. And once you learn that, you again are able to sit back, reassess who you are, how you do what you do, and say, okay, now it's time for those next steps. And then we get into the actual training. Everything from one of the newest sessions we have is on human capital, and it encompasses volunteerism, because our programs are involving volunteers.
Yes.
You know, the best way to get them, the best way to keep them. Another aspect of that session is quality board participation, because our goal is for some of our, well, as many as possible of our graduates to participate in boards, because who knows better the community than those people who are working at the ground level, who can do those things, who can bring that aspect and the voice of the people too. Because oftentimes you have people coming in and saying, this is what we're going to do for you. Don't have a clue about the needs of the community.
That's so true. That's so
Don't
true.
have a clue.
Well,
and then the next one, I'm going to,
go ahead.
wait a minute, that's senior moment. We don't want to go
ahead.
there. And then the final thing is self-care.
Yes.
So many of our leaders, whether you're grassroots, whether you're, nationally known, we don't take care of ourselves. We're so busy taking care of everyone else. You suffer burnout. You think that you're in this alone, which you are not. But we talk about self-care and how you need to sit back and take a moment and exhale and regroup so that you can continue to do what you need to do in order, again, to improve your community and make Cleveland a better place for everyone.
For everyone. And that's
Yes.
amazing. So, Yolanda, you went over most of the steps that we go through.
Mm-hmm.
So, Nancy, tell me about your experience at NLDP. First of all, tell me, how did you find out about NLDP? What did you do? Just tell us your experience. Share that with us.
Well, I first heard about NLDP from a colleague at Tri-C. Her name is Marquita Rockamore, and she is the Director of Healthcare Solutions. And she sent me a link. She said she was interested in this program and thought that maybe I should look into it too. And I read the information, looked at the curriculum, and I immediately thought, sign me up. So I submitted my application. And then I was informed by you, Yolanda, that I would be coming in for an interview. And if I may share a funny story,
ahead.
which I've told friends and family time and time again. When I came for the interview, I was sitting outside a beautiful room at Trinity Cathedral, and a gentleman peeked around the corner and said, "We'll be with you in a moment." And that gentleman was Mayor Michael White. I had no idea that I was going to be interviewing with the former mayor of Cleveland. So when I got in, and he was conducting the interview. He has a very good way of getting information out of people. So I was telling him what my plan was to do this youth police council, and he was asking me, why and what's happening, what has prompted you to do this, and he continued to ask more and more questions, and I was not giving him the information that he was looking for, and he finally, asked one question and said, well, how do you feel? And I said, well, truth be told, this is what I tell friends and family. I feel like I'm stuck in the birth canal. Like I'm just stuck, and I need to finally be like, I'm
out, push me out,
yes.
yes.
And he said, well, how long have you been feeling this way? And I could not help myself.
Yes.
And I said, wouldn't it be funny if I said 9 months? And we all started laughing. And I thought, I'm never getting into this program.
She got jokes.
And I was chosen. And my experience, as I said, it was life-changing. I've met who I consider to be new lifelong friends, family members that I will be in touch with and coordinate projects with for the rest of my life. I learned so much about racial equity. I am a passionate, compassionate individual. I work for Cuyahoga Community College. There were so many things that I learned from my fellow cohort members that are invaluable, and I am also sharing that with others in my community and my family.
You know, in following up on that, it is amazing because so many people think, oh my, I bombed that interview. I am not going to make it. And they're so shocked and surprised. Number one, like you say, when they go in and think, oh, that's Mayor White. Okay. But then when you receive the information that you made it, they're stunned. We even had a person who, she said, I know I'm not going to make it because I'm not a leader. And throughout her interview, she was talking about all the phenomenal things she was doing in the community, but she kept saying, but I'm not a leader, but I'm not a leader. And that's one of the things, the humbleness of persons who come through, but that's one of the things a lot of our participants come in thinking, I'm not a leader, but you're out there doing the work every single day. And yes, you are a leader. And again, that's a part of what we do in the further development. And you said, how do you get through there? Bring your A game. Bring your A game. Come in there and speak with confidence, speak with boldness, and tell what you're doing, why you're doing it, and why you should be in the program.
Yeah.
I mean, and yes, you may get thrown off. Oh my God, it's Michael White. Oh my God, it's Michael White. But then you need to suck it up and say, okay, this is why you want me.
Yeah.
You want me. And to piggyback on all of that, when we get a chance, I really talk about the 3 unique aspects of what NLDP is. And I think that'll also continue to tie, because it ties on to what you said, Nancy, about I have gained a whole new network of persons who I will be able to work with and collaborate with and support.
And celebrate with.
Yes.
Celebrate our successes and support each other when there are challenges.
Yes.
And then with that being said, this whole support piece, you did this poverty simulation that they were talking about in our class, and I was not able to attend. So tell the viewing audience what that poverty simulation is, and is it still something that we can go to?
Yes. So poverty simulation, it's a Bridges Out of Poverty, and there's a Bridges steering committee in Northeast Ohio, in Cleveland. But these poverty simulations, we bring together either groups, companies, or the general public to come in to experience what it's like to live in poverty. And there are community agencies that are set up around the room. We have a grocery store, a food pantry, school, jail. There's also a health clinic, payday lender, utility company, mortgage. Yes. So, yes, Yolanda, you went through. You went through it.
Yes.
Well, that's good. So y'all can have a conversation.
So people,
about it.
We have up to 88 people. They come in and they get an assigned role, and they do. People are not given the option to choose if they want to be a 34-year-old female. We have the packets that are set up in little housing units, which are 2 to 4 chairs that are facing each other, and they're very close. And so when individuals come in, we give them an identity and they wear it. It's a lanyard. And there are some that are, like a 13-year-old girl. What were you?
I was a 16-year-old high school student.
16-year-old high school student. So then you get to your family unit with your packet, your family packet, and there are different scenarios and situations. And the simulation runs on 4 15-minute sessions that represent a week in the month a month of poverty.
Yes.
So I think because Yolanda went through the experience, do you want to share?
Absolutely amazing. I was in a family with my mother, my father, and my grandmother who lived with us. I worked. I went to school. Our house was robbed. We had to, my parents had to go to all the different social agencies to get the money that they needed to replace ID cards, etc. My mother worked, my father worked, but because of no bus transportation, there was problems getting to work. The simulation truly did provide you, especially if you have not ever experienced that. See, for some people it's really difficult, and it was interesting because there were some people who that had been their life.
Yeah.
And they tell you, if in fact it brings back memories or you need to take a moment, please do not hesitate to go and get yourself together. And for those of us who, I've never experienced that, it gives you a whole new perspective of what it is to budget on a small amount of money. We were evicted. And to try to find a place and to be in a shelter and then to get monies back together. It was just an overwhelming but awesome experience for people to have more empathy towards persons who who that is their life. That is what they do from day to day to day.
We've offered this to a number of healthcare facilities, and the barriers that people have to overcome in order to get to work. Someone who comes to work and maybe they're 5 minutes late, who knows what they had to go through to get to work, get their children to daycare, or find a ride, or maybe their car broke down, so they need to take public transportation. And Yolanda, one thing, anybody, wherever, so this is a big room, but if anybody had to go outside of their family unit, they would have a bus transfer or a bus ticket. If they didn't have a bus ticket, they were not able to go.
Right.
We also had a police officer. And so there, and people are trying to pay their bills, get paid, get a job, and we hear in the news how someone has left their child at daycare, and you think, oh, how could that ever happen? How could you do that? Well, maybe they're stuck across town, or something happened, their car broke down, they're trying to figure that out, and there's so much stress that they, can forget their child. And that has happened during our simulations. It's unbelievable how many people, we have little stuffed babies.
We even had a baby kidnapped.
Yeah, baby was kidnapped.
One was left.
They leave. So it's, someone suggested we get life-size babies with wet diapers and they cry all the time. We're not there yet, but people leave their children behind all the time, and it's not just black or white, like this is why they left their child, whatever. There are so many factors that are going into what happens. Yes, and so what we found that when we do this with healthcare facilities and other corporations is that people, we want them to experience this, even though it's an hour-long simulation, and then we have an hour for discussion afterwards, just for people to realize that those living in poverty struggle on a daily basis, and we want individuals who have not been in poverty to actually feel that. And again, it's only an hour, but it is a very powerful experience, and we hope that they walk away more empathetic and understanding of their fellow man.
And that did come out because one of the employers who was there said that the reason they attended was so they could get a better feel for the persons who work for them and understand, okay, why are you late 3 out of 5 days of the week? Well, with that simulation, they actually thought, wow, maybe there are problems with childcare, maybe there is problems with transportation, and the only way we can find out is to talk to them. See, that's the other side of it. You're late, I'm writing you up, I don't want to hear it, but they actually said, number one, they said they were looking at the next session so that they could send other persons, but their goal is to make sure that now I'm going to ask, you've been late. Can you tell me why? And is there anything I can do to help you?
That's awesome. You know, the last session
Yes.
that I had here, the person that was on, her name is Deanna Appling, and her thing is like working with toxic environments as it relates to employees. And her whole thing was, as an employer, you have to engage.
Yes.
With you, they can't just be a number. They
Right.
can't just you show up and take care of this task, and I don't really know anything about you just long as this work is done. So if you can engage with your employees, you can find out certain
Right.
things. Because it's the one young lady on my staff that she gets to work almost like 30 minutes early because the next bus would have her 30 minutes late.
Right.
You know, so it's all these different things, and then and it's like, okay, you got to sit around for 30 minutes. You can't clock in
Right.
until your time. But it's interesting to know these type of
Yes.
things. So the number one goal for the poverty simulation is just so people can have a better understanding of what it feels like. For empathy, what is the goals?
That is
Okay,
it.
okay.
To have a more sympathetic, understanding society, and to treat everyone with respect.
Yes.
We do not know what others are going
Yes.
through, and it is important, very important, for us to treat one another with respect and understanding, and interact with them, and find out why.
Right.
Why is this individual late, or why is this person not performing the way they should be, or the way the company expects them to be? That's the goal, and it seems to be working. We want to do a follow-up after the simulation. We are planning to do one in the fall. It
Okay.
will be at Tri-C. It will be at the Metro campus. It's free. What you're doing is you're taking time out of your day to participate in this very, very impactful exercise.
Awesome. So how can people attend or go through the poverty simulation?
So what we'll do when we set up a date, we will put it on Eventbrite. So and also on Tri-C's calendar.
Okay.
It will probably be in maybe September, October.
Okay.
And so if everyone wants to put it on their phone or on their calendar to start searching for Poverty Simulation Cleveland, we will then have it on Eventbrite, and people will sign up, and then they'll be able to come, and we'll most likely be at Tri-C's Metropolitan Campus at the Manufacturing Technology Center, which is 2415 Woodland Avenue.
Okay. So this first time you guys did it, was that the first time, or
No.
so occasionally you do it?
Well, we would like to now do it quarterly.
Okay.
But we have so many requests coming in,
Yeah.
but we don't have enough manpower to run these. There's a lot that
right.
goes into it.
I'm sure.
So there are other organizations that are involved, and we're doing best to provide these. And right now, what we can do is on a quarterly basis. The United Methodist Church is offering one on June 29th.
Okay.
And if I don't have the information with me, but
That's
we can
okay.
get it and put
Post
it up on the
it,
website.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
That's interesting. Yeah, so I wasn't able to go to that. So basically, let's finish up your NLDP experience.
Yes.
It was just, what else? What are you walking away with?
I'm walking away with knowing that I am a leader.
Amen.
And that I have these relationships with individuals. I'm not alone in my caring for the community. And we are all in this together, and knowing that I have 19 champions, or actually 200, how many? 228 fellow champions
Us are here.
for the betterment of Cleveland, that we can make Cleveland a better place,
Awesome.
a brighter place, a
Yes.
more loving place, a more productive place to live.
Yeah. So one of the things for me was, just how a lot of people was like, "Oh my word, I am a leader," and the Bible says that your gifts will make room for you. So as a leader, that gift is something sometimes that's dormant on the inside, and we just need somebody to water that gift. We just need somebody to speak life into that gift, and as we speak, it comes up, and then it comes up. You're like, "Wow, I am a leader." So some of the things that Yolanda talked about that we went through to that was amazing for me. The first session that we had a training on communication. But it wasn't a training on communication, it was a training on communication. So this training was a tango dance teacher.
Yes.
So these tango dance instructors came and was like teaching us this tango dance, but in teaching us the tango dance, they taught us about communicating. And that lesson stuck with me. That was so profound. That was almost a year ago. And I still think about the lessons that I got from that tango dance. And another thing that Yolanda talked about was first finding out about us. So I love that the first 4 sessions was all about us. You know, finding out who you are, how you respond, what are your triggers, how you deal with people. That's so important as a leader. And then understanding others as well. So we went through this whole personality thing. And I was a doer. And I'm standing all the way over there. And I know it, you know, so it's like, okay, I already knew that I was a doer. But to take this test and know that that's who you are, so don't shrink back from who you are. That's
right.
who you are. Embrace who you are. And then know what you need, because as a doer, I don't look at the details. So then that way I need somebody on my team who is a detail-oriented person, right? And then the human capital piece, understanding how we navigate with other individuals to help the greater good of Cleveland or the greater good of our association or whatever it is that we're doing, that was absolutely amazing. And, you know, the board, all of it was so amazing. So Yolanda, at this point, I'm going to ask you to share those 3 unique aspects or characteristics of NLDP.
Excellent. The first is curriculum, which you
Okay.
have been talking about, which you have expounded upon. And it is unique because, again, each of our sessions builds from the one prior to it. We have the trifecta, which is in the
I
middle,
love that.
which is your, I hope I have it in the right order, your program planning, your program marketing, your program fundraising. And they all build from one another. We have a session on Cleveland's past, present, and future, which I truly enjoy because not being a native Clevelander, but a transplanted Clevelander, I was able to learn about how Cleveland got to where it is in regards to communities. And it's amazing to watch the participants say, oh yeah, I remember, because our ages range from 18 to 70s, to people in their 70s. So you have those seniors who say, oh yeah, I remember that, and oh yes, I remember that. And the younger people saying, I didn't have a clue, I didn't know anything about this. Then we even tie that together with a community tour on Raleigh to Trolley, where we go to different parts of Cleveland on the east side and the west side to see what our community leaders are doing. We use graduates from NLDP as well as other community leaders. So the aspects regarding our curriculum, that's the first unique thing. And we use business professionals, entrepreneurs, and members of the academia to present those, to facilitate. The second tier, Michael White describes it as a 3-legged stool. So the first leg is the curriculum. The second leg is once our graduates are always the cohort when it comes to that last session and graduation. Oh, what am I going to do? We're not going to see each other. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. We have... Oh, you know what? I'm going to back up because that's the third leg.
So
the second leg is the program coaching.
Oh, yeah.
Each participant receives a program coach, and that coach meets with each of their coachees between each session to ensure that there are no misconnects, to connect anything that they missed or have concerns about, to talk about their projects and their programs, but also another aspect of NLDP is what you are taught. When you walk out that door at the end of the session, you can apply it that day.
Yes.
And we have persons who have taken some of those skills and say, I needed this conflict resolution.
Yes.
Conflict negotiation resolution. Oh, I have a situation going on in my office and I'm going to work, I can use this. Team building. Oh, and facilitation. I have a seminar coming up and I'm going to use this. And at their coaching sessions, they can get back to their coach and say, you know, I took what so-and-so said and I applied it and they were absolutely correct. It worked, it was fantastic, or I don't know what happened. I bombed totally on this. And that your coach can talk you through and say, okay, tell me what steps you took. What did you do? What didn't you do? And let's see if we can figure out together with the coachee doing most of the talking to say, okay, oh, I think I know what I did wrong. I think I know what I could have done better. So after graduation, you keep your coach. And you receive 2 free coaching sessions per year. Every single NLDP graduate is able to request 2 free coaching sessions. And that is an aspect of our program that most, and all leadership programs are good. Everyone has they're all good. They all work. The goal is better leaders, more leaders. But with our coaching, we believe that adds that continuity and that support, because again, you're reminded, in addition to your fellow grads, that I don't have to go through this by myself. There's someone who I can bounce ideas off. You know, everything is going great. I just want you to know. Can you think of anything else that I should be doing? Or I don't know. Everything is just pure. I am at a loss. I don't know what I'm not doing right. And you have someone to bounce those ideas off of. The third leg of our 3-legged stool is our graduate support program. That is where we tie in. That's that networking. That's all those 229 persons who, you know, number one, you have your cohort class, that those 20 persons who you establish that really close, tight relationship with, and then it expands to those other persons who have graduated and who have gone through the NLDP experience. And to tie all that together is what our graduate support manager does. So our graduate support manager, we have, that person will be responsible for developing and initiating, of course, with the help of our program director, graduate capacity courses. So you continue to learn, you continue to expand. We've had fundraising too, program planning too. Yes, so you can build from what you've already learned. She also we have a graduate events committee, and that committee gets together and says, okay, let's do some fun things. Let's get together and just have a good time. And one of our most recent activities was a paint party that was initiated, facilitated by the graduate committee, events committee, and Gwen Garth, our resident artist. She is the person who conducted it, and we worked together, and it was a phenomenal thing. And Gwen is so kind, because I am not a canvas artist, because I told her, Gwen, this is supposed to be a flower. It looks like an Indian headdress. She said, oh, but we're all artists. Though you are not an artist on canvas, you are an artist in life. Yes. And I thought, you are so kind. But those are the kinds of things that we do. And that in itself was encouragement from another grad to say, okay, this is not your, it's not your lane, but it's okay. Our graduate support manager also meets and visits with the grads to find out what's going on, how you're doing, can we provide any resources. And one of the things that she will be informing our graduates now is we have moved. We are no longer down in the United Way building. We are in the Life building at 3700 Euclid Avenue. And our new space includes graduate co-work space. So many of our graduates, they don't have brick and mortar facilities. Their office is their bedroom, their dining room table, the family room.
Right.
But we have a space where if they're working on a project or they have something going on, they can come in. We have a cube for them. We have free Wi-Fi. They can sit down. It's okay. Complete quiet. No one's saying, mommy, mommy, Oma, whatever. Okay, I can spread everything out and I can work and get things done. We also have a coaching room and we have free parking. So now coaches can say, hi, Yolanda, or email and say, I need to schedule an appointment with one of my coachees and we want to come through. So those are the three unique aspects that make NLDP. Our 16 session curriculum, our coaching that continues on. We're like the mafia. Once you become a part of NLDP, you're always a part of NLDP.
Yes.
And then the graduate support manager who ties it through. We had a, and I'm going to close with this. We had a few years ago a inventory inspection evaluation done. And our graduate support manager, she had to go out and she was, talking to everyone. And then with the evaluation, they did that. And it came back that over 90%, and it was really close. I mean, and I don't want to give exact numbers because but over 90% of our graduates are still participating in projects.
Awesome.
Whether it's the same project, whether it's a different project, whether it's in collaboration with someone else, with another graduate, they're still working. And when I say over 90%, I'm talking mid 90%. So, and we thought, no, but hey, the numbers don't lie.
They don't.
So once you all get started, you continue to do, and you continue to grow and blossom because of that water, that fertilizer, all of those things that were fed into you from the facilitators, from your coaches, from the program staff, from each other, to blossom into, oh my, what a Cleveland we can have.
Watch out, world. Here we
That's
come.
right. That is right.
So, Nancy, when Yolanda was talking, I was thinking about the session that I was able to apply right away, or several of those sessions that, right after the session, something came up and I was able to use it. Do you have any sessions that we had a session and that information from that session you were able to apply right away? While you're thinking about it, I'm going to share mine real quickly. So, we had a session talking about conflict resolution and negotiation. The very next day, I get to work, and one of the ladies was having a situation with the general manager. But I manage the salon department, so it's my department. So they were having conflict, and they was like, okay, Teresa, you need to come in and sit. I'm like, why I gotta sit there? I wasn't even there. I had anything to do about it. But I was so glad that I had just went through that class, because the things that I learned before, I would have just sat there and not said anything. So the things that we learned, the tools that we gained from sharing back with the person, just listening with an objective ear, not pointing any fingers, not blaming anybody. And I think I was able to sit there. I took notes while each of them was talking. I repeated back, so what I hear you saying is all these little tools that we learned that day. So I was able to, that's just one of the many things that I was able to use that day, and was just really feeling empowered because of the information that I was given at NLDP that I was able to apply that day. Yeah, it was amazing. So, Nancy,
What there, as you said, there are so many, but the one that sticks out with me is when we went to the Cleveland Foundation to learn about fundraising, because I had one thing in my head, like, this is how you fundraise, and didn't realize that there is such a wealth of support and opportunities, especially through the Cleveland Foundation. And I don't remember the gentleman's name who spent David Holmes, who spent the day with us, and he was wonderful. And so now I know that there are other avenues to seek funding, and whether or not to create a 501c3. So that was very impactful. The Cleveland City tour was really good. I loved, my favorite part. Every stop was wonderful. But Mama Fosse with a drum circle.
I know, I seen you over there. You was getting emotional, girl. You was like feeling them drums. It was taking you back to your ancestors, wasn't it? You was over there in it.
When I walked in, I saw all the drums. I was like, I do not have one like coordinated anything in me. I'm going to be like, bah, on. Everyone else is, doing the bongos. And the way that she taught us, and we had to listen to her instructions, we created a beautiful, present company included, a beautiful drum circle. And what it was something that was my Celtic roots or what, something was being pushed out of me. It was very emotional, it was very intense. And I also like that when we were driving Lolly the Trolley down Woodland Avenue, one of the things that Mama Fosse was saying was, I like you and you like me. That's how we were drumming too. Yes. And and then we're on the trolley and we hear someone beeping, I like you and you like me. Beep, beep, beep. That was really fun. Yes, and also to see old Brooklyn and to learn about that community, I thought, and also the city of Cleveland, the history of Cleveland is fascinating. Redlining being one thing that I was not aware of, and I am now, every chance I get, I'm telling everyone that I know that this redlining, it still exists. And we need to undesign the red line.
Yeah, that undesign the red line exhibit is amazing. And it was so eye-opening. It's one thing to know in your spirit that something exists. It's another thing to see hardcore facts that this really is not a figment of my imagination. It's not us just making up stuff. This stuff really exists. Ladies, time flies. It's almost over. So before we close, I just want to have a closing remark from each of you. So Yolanda, we'll start with you. Any closing remarks, any contact information you want to give our viewing audience about NLDP?
Take a chance on yourself and apply for cohort 13. You may be surprised at what you learn about yourself and how you can develop and flourish into an even better leader. Or you may, again, apply online directly. You can call me at 216-776-6167 or email me at ymurray@nldpcleveland.com. I will email you an application. I will put one in snail mail. Whatever works for you, we are willing to work with you. Take a chance on yourself and help us to continue to strengthen Cleveland so that it works for everyone and grow our phenomenal NLDP family.
Awesome. And Nancy, closing remarks, any actionable takeaways you want from the viewing audience?
I just want to say at the beginning you said that you felt like NLDP, you got a master's knocking on the door of PhD. It's without the DEBT because this program is free. You are investing your time, and it's 16 months of Saturdays.
11 months.
I'm sorry, 11 months of 16 Saturdays.
Right.
And it is worth it. It's life-changing, and I encourage anyone who has any investment or desire to better Cleveland to apply for this program. And I look forward to greeting you as a fellow alum in the next year.
Awesome sauce. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to Christian Networking Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Pastor Teresa McCurry. We have a Christian Networking Entrepreneurs event tonight at our church. So at 6:30, please feel free to come out to 2060 West 65th Street, right off of Colgate. Our guest tonight is Carmela. She's talking about the name of her business is Founder of Empowerment to Hope. So she'll be our spotlight. Our sponsors for tonight is Brian and Reverend Dr. Ferdinia Weems. So they'll be talking about holistic health care as it relates to your business and personal development. So please join us tonight at our Christian Networking Entrepreneurs, 6:30 p.m., 2060 West 65th. And remember, if you don't network, you don't work. All right, thanks, Nancy. I appreciate you coming. All right.
It was a pleasure.
I appreciate it. So we appreciate you, the listening audience, the viewing audience tuning in, and thank you so much for tuning in to Christian Networking Entrepreneurs. So to all you emerging entrepreneurs, small business owners, and community leaders, if you're interested in being a guest on the show, please contact me. I would always love to have more guests. Have a great day. Bye-bye.